Good morning. Welcome back to Sending Ravens. As promised, we had a Betty viewing. Spontaneously, Betty decided to be in the video. So I'm going to put this one up too. This is the reading from Sending Ravens. Okay. We've got the Hermit there. Ooh, in the World. Wow. Heavy hitters. Major Arcana. And I've probably talked about the difference. So major arcanas have the Roman numeral up at the top and a title, okay? And other ones just have the Roman numeral or a title, right? So, but they won't have both. The major arcanas have both. And there are 22 major arcanas, 0 to 21, including the number 0 or the non-number 0. And we have 3 of them right across from each other. So when that happens, what it's trying to say in the reading is this is a very intense and could probably be talking about in the next year kind of reading. And we're not probably talking about just the next day, right? We're talking about big life changes around that I guess our higher selves want to talk about today. In the past, something came to an end or a conclusion. Whenever there's a 10, and especially in a position of the past, and that's what position this one is, the past, that led to this. Okay, so it's a hint at how we got here, right? So the past is something came to an end, a natural end. The Tower would be more unnatural, where an abrupt ending happened. But a 10 is like a conclusion, right? So the 10 of Cups, we've concluded maybe a level. And that could be an emotional level in this case, or the level in a relationship or a feeling. Okay, so we got to a certain level, and we're on a plateau, just about to move into a whole new part of our lives, it looks like. Okay, we're going forward with deeper, more introspection, because this is ourselves. We've got the Hermit, so that's introspection and wisdom, looking inward at ourselves, okay? So we've come to this place emotionally, and we've learned a lot in even the last, that could be 10 years. And now we're at this place where we introspect and honor our wisdom, because that's what the Hermit does. And the World is, as we sit on this crossroads, because the World is interesting because it's a bigger version of the 10 of Cups is like sort of a lower version of the World, because the 10 of Cups is coming to a plateau in a way. Sometimes it can be, if it's badly aspected, it can be presenting a facade, the facade of a happy family or joy and happiness, when in fact you don't have it. But when it's well aspected, as it is here, it's powerfully aspected, even with those 3 major arcanas below it, then I would call it the unending, and you're on a plateau of some kind, ready to move, because all these other cards are about moving into your future, okay, in a really big way. Now, and the World is literally like you're sitting on that threshold where you've done the work. You've done so much work. What comes behind the World is you worked really hard to get to the place. The World is where you sit. And you're sitting ready to create the next phase, whatever that is. Sometimes the World can even be leaving the earth plane. You know, you could be that could be how big of a conclusion it is. I'm not really getting that though, per se, with cards. Like we would need the moon to be somewhere present, I think, if that was going to happen. But so we're not necessarily saying someone's leaving the earth plane, per se. I mean, people do leave the earth plane on a regular basis, but that's not really what I'm getting in the reading. I'm getting more like we're sitting contemplating, inwardly thinking and examining our next big part of our journey, what to do next, right? and going forward in a way in the atmosphere. Maybe we're now seen from all the work we've done in the where we've got to, okay, and how wise we are. Now we're seen as a teacher of some kind. Okay, so maybe it's talking about owning our teaching abilities and moving into sharing that somehow on social media. We've got the Magician. I mean, if not social media, this could be publishing things. This could be sharing it verbally, storytelling, owning it at least, using our magic, working our magic. Find out what your tools are. This Magician has all these tools at his beck and call. He's got physical manifestation here. He could do things emotionally. He could create things with that wand, or he could write and speak them. So use your magic to share all the wisdom you've gained, right? That's the next step, I think. Using your magic to share all the wisdom you've gained. And we've got the King of Pentacles here. Somebody's going to help you, a generous help from someone, King of Pentacles. And the other way you could read that is there's a generosity to you. So if you attract abundance through your work, there's a philanthropist to that card. Or you may attract someone who wants to share their abundance to help you put your message out or do your work. Now that Nine of Cups is a great wish card. And I'm feeling like these two cards here are saying, if you have a desire or a wish to attract something that involves comfort or finance, more financial ability or more comfort in the world, you will get your wish. And the way you get your wish is to use your wisdom and share it. And then you become more comfortable on the earth plane, whatever that means, right? So finances, financial gain, or gaining comfort. Because there's lots of ways. When I lived in the Haida Gwaii, I was very comfortable, even though I literally didn't have actual money. I lived in a shack that I rented. I traded everything. People would trade me hundreds of dollars worth of halibut for a reading, like what would be on the market for $150 worth of halibut. Once I was traded a reading. Somebody held up a bag and said, would this be a good trade for a reading? I'm like, yeah. So there's lots of ways to have abundance. I had abundance on the Haida Gwaii, but I literally didn't have any money, and I was like, would have been seen as a single mom in a shack, right? But it was the best, most luxurious life, really, because yeah, just in the nature there, and the friends I had and still have, and the love that was shared there. It was like the best years of my life. And people say, wow, well, technically, sometimes I lived in places without houses, but it was like, seriously, some of the best years of my life. Yeah, and I had my beautiful daughter, Raven, with me. Okay, so we've got the Sun, and we've got the Two of Wands. So the Sun and the Two of Wands. So this is overviewing the whole reading. I feel like you're on a plateau. So we've got all the plateau cards that brings you to a more abundant, and you're just looking at how you're going to create in your future the next phase that's going to be more joyful, more abundant. And it's because of all the hard work you've done in the past. And a big part of how you're doing it, how you're going forward, is teaching and sharing your wisdom. And there's so many ways to do that now. Teaching and sharing your wisdom. Thank you so much. Please like and share the videos and subscribe if you haven't already. Sending you ravens.